The book on the table, How One Small Moment Turned Financial Chaos into Control. Mark was drowning. At 29, he lived in a cramped city apartment, juggling two maxed out credit cards and a car loan he could barely keep up with. After a layoff from his full time job, he resorted to delivery gigs just to survive. He earned around $2,300 per month, yet somehow, by the end of every month, his bank balance was always dangerously close to zero. Rent, Uber Eats, online shopping, parties, it all disappeared into a financial black hole. The anxiety, constant, the future, blurry. I don't even know where my money is going. Mark would say this often, half joking, half panicked, until one random weekend everything changed. The unexpected trip. One weekend, Mark planned to visit a nearby city for a party. He called his friend Steve, who agreed to join, and offered a place to crash. My brother's out of town, Steve said. We can stay at his house. I've got the spare key. They arrived, ordered takeout, watched a movie, and went to bed. It felt like just another lazy weekend. But the next morning, that's where the story truly began. The ledger that sparked a change. While Steve was in the shower, Mark roamed the living room and noticed something on the TV shelf, a plain leather bound notebook. Curious, he opened it. What he found wasn't a novel or diary, it was a personal finance tracker. Monthly incomes, expense breakdowns, savings goals, investment plans, notes like parents visit next month, set aside $300. Mark's eyebrows rose. When Steve came back, Mark asked, Wait, your brother tracks all of this? Yeah, Steve smiled. He's not rich, but he's really intentional. Even budgeted for your birthday gift last year. Mark blinked. Seriously? Something clicked. From confusion to clarity. Back home, Mark grabbed a cheap spiral notebook and labeled the first page. Month 1, where is my money going? Determined to break free from the cycle of stress and uncertainty, he committed to tracking every single dollar he spent, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. At first, it felt tedious. Writing down every coffee, every ride share, every impulse buy was like shining a flashlight on a mess he'd been ignoring. But Mark pushed through. By the end of the first week, a clear pattern began to emerge. Monday to Friday, spending was low and steady, about $12 a day on essentials like coffee and quick snacks during long shifts. Saturday, the budget exploded. He was blowing nearly $85 on nights out, food delivery, and spontaneous buys that felt good in the moment but left him empty later. Sunday, spending cooled down to around $40 on groceries and small treats to prepare for the week ahead. One evening, Mark stared at the numbers and felt a jolt of clarity hit him like a lightning bolt. Saturdays were his financial downfall. Those nights out weren't just fun, they were draining his account and feeding his anxiety. Noticing social triggers, Mark decided to dig deeper. He started reflecting on who he spent money with and why. With Jake, Saturdays meant loud bars, expensive drinks, and feeling the pressure to keep up, usually spending $50 or more. With Tom, weekends were simple and cheap picnics, hikes, or just chilling with a movie at home. The truth became impossible to ignore. Social pressures and certain friendships were quietly fueling his overspending. The realization stung. Mark wondered how many nights he had sacrificed his financial peace just to fit in. The hard decisions. Determined to change, Mark knew tough choices lay ahead. Cutting Saturdays down, no more weekend blowouts every week. He limited nights out to once every 2 weeks and replaced the rest with low cost gatherings like potlucks or movie nights, changing his circle. He started spending more time with friends like Tom, who respected his budget and didn't pressure him to spend money. It was uncomfortable at first. Turning down invites felt isolating. But slowly, Mark found his confidence growing with every smart choice, creating a real budget. Armed with his insights, Mark created a practical budget he could actually follow. Monthly budget dollars. Weekday essentials 100, Saturday outings 150, Sunday groceries 160, miscellaneous 100, savings 150, total 660. Each night he checked his spending and held himself accountable. The result: 1 month later, Mark's hard work started to pay off. He slashed his monthly spending from $1,200 to $660, almost cutting it in half. For the first time in months, he saved $150, a small but powerful victory. His bank app no longer triggered panic. Instead, it became a source of relief and hope. Most importantly, Mark felt something he hadn't in a long time: control. Control over his money, his choices, and his future. Looking back, those nights spent writing in that little notebook marked the moment Mark stopped being a victim of his finances and became the master of them. Persistence pays off. The journey wasn't without struggles. Mark faced temptations and slip ups, but the habit of tracking expenses kept him aware. Changing social habits eased the pressure to overspend, and the budget acted as a clear roadmap guiding his decisions. Months later, Mark had paid off his credit cards, cleared his car loan, built a solid emergency fund, and even started investing toward his future. Mark's story proves that financial transformation isn't about luck or a windfall, it's about awareness, tough choices, and consistent action. Your turn to take control. Mark's story isn't unique. Many feel trapped by finances but find freedom through awareness and action. You don't need a raise or windfall. You need clarity on where your money goes, courage to change habits, persistence to keep going. Mark's breakthrough started with a notebook and the decision to track expenses. Yours can too. Practical tips to start tracking today. Choose a notebook, spreadsheet, or app, whatever fits your style. Write down every expense, no matter how small. Review weekly to spot patterns and triggers. Set a simple budget based on your findings. Make gradual changes. Cut back and reward progress. Be patient. Real change takes time. Control over your money is control over your life. Start now. Your future self will thank you. Inspired by Mark's journey, share your story or questions in the comments. Let's grow together. Written by Ravi Teja, a storyteller exploring the quiet power of ordinary moments.